Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. All of us have stories about the one that got away. We all have stories where some gambling bet that was going to put us beyond the penthouse fell through. For me, one of my stories is when I found out that Kelly Pavlik, who might have been undefeated at the time, was going to fight Sergio Mora, who was a plus 750 underdog. I remember the minute I heard that fight, I thought, oh, I've got to find a way to play some action on Sergio Mora because I just knew that Sergio Mora was going to take out Kelly Pavlik. The fight fell apart. It was food out of my mouth. I was thinking Hawaii, south of France, buffets, luau's, and instead all I got was a fight that wasn't made. And I still think to this day Sergio Mora would have beaten Kelly Pavlik, who then went on to lose to Bernard Hopkins and Sergio Martinez. Well, now Sergio Mora, who for some odd reason, it might be the fact that he won the contender, always seems to get great odds at the casino. No one seems to believe in this guy. Now he's fighting Sugar Shane Mosley, a big name, who somehow is viewed as an elite boxer. Make no mistake, hear me clearly. Sergio Mora is the boxer in this fight, not Shane Mosley, right? Um, Also, hear me too. If you're going to take Sergio Mora in this fight, and I don't know what the odds are in this fight, then you need to straddle it with Shane Mosley by KO because Shane Mosley always has a puncher's chance in every fight he's in. But take a step back and think for a minute. Whenever Shane Mosley steps up against elite boxers, those are the people who tend to beat him, right? Let me name a few of them. Winky Wright, Vernon Forrest, Floyd Mayweather. Even Miguel Cotto was able to outbox Shane Mosley. Mosley has a problem with slick counterpunching boxers, and Sergio Mora, and I don't care what the reputation is, Sergio Mora, in my opinion, is one of the best pure boxers in the entire sport. Now, there are two big problems with Sergio Mora. Three, I guess, if you count a lack of power. But there are two really big problems with Sergio Mora that you need to be completely aware of. One of them is weight. Understand he beat the great Vernon Forrest in their first match. Legitimately beat Vernon Forrest. He had time to train for that match. Here's the problem with Mora. The second time he didn't have time to train. And it was obvious that he had a huge problem making 154. He went in there, he was the champion, and he lost his title to Vernon Forrest. That remains the only fight in his entire career that Sergio Mora has lost. And in that fight, quite frankly, and this is the second problem with Mora, besides weight, and you need to be careful with weight because it's unclear whether Sergio Mora can make 154 comfortably. I believe he can because he has time. This fight has a longer time horizon than his rematch against Vernon Forrest, but I feel a lot more comfortable if the fight were at 160. If it were at 160, I would have a lot of confidence that Sergio Mora would be ready. Since it's at 154, you need to pay close attention, especially to stories about what happens at the weigh-in, because if Sergio Mora has problems making weight at the weigh-in, and last time he showed up, he had to lose weight the day of the weigh-in and stuff like that, then don't bet on him. Because one of the worst things any gambler can do is bet on a fighter who has weigh-in problems, right? Only bet on Mora if he is at weight and he looks healthy, right? Make sure that there are no stories about, oh, he's at 160, but he'll get down to 154, etc. The other problem with Sergio Mora is the problem Billy Conn had years ago, generations before me. Billy Conn was winning the World Heavyweight Championship against the dominant Joe Louis. Right? He was beating Louis. All he had to do was stay on his feet, and he would legitimately be the heavyweight champion of the world. But unfortunately, that's not who Billy Conn was. Beating Joe Louis was not enough. Conn decided he wanted to knock out Joe Louis. We all know guys like this, right? The win is not enough. It becomes about winning margin. And the problem with Sergio Mora is he gets caught up in fights. He is a fighter. He does not know when to take a step back. If you look at the film of his rematch against Vernon Forrest, you'll see that if Mora just stood upright and fought outside and kept the fight impersonal, I believe he would have successfully defended his title. Unfortunately, that's not who he is. He got hit a few times by Vernon Forrest. Those two guys seem to be having words. Mora seemed to take it personally. He started slugging with Vernon Forrest, and that was a big mistake. I worry about Mora's temperament because he's going to be fighting a guy, Shane Mosley, who doesn't leave a lot of room for error. Right? Keep in mind, Mosley almost stopped Floyd Mayweather. That's the hardest I've seen Floyd Mayweather get hit. Antonio Margarito, I think even Margarito fans would concede when Shane Mosley took out Margarito, that's probably the hardest Margarito has been hit. I want 6 foot tall Sergio Mora to use his height, use his superior foot movement, use his vastly superior boxing skills to simply outbox Shane Mosley. Keep in mind, Mora's KO ratio is only 25%. What I don't want is a Billy Conn situation where he goes in there, starts spanking Shane Mosley, and then decides he needs to put on a show. Because when you're in the ring with a ticking time bomb who's really a slugger masquerading as a boxer, the last thing you want to do is to get cocky, get right in front of him, go for the knockout. So those are the only two caveats I have on Sergio Mora. So my recommendation to you, given my view that Shane Mosley can be outboxed, he's not a boxer, he's a slugger. Look at his knockout ratio, look at his big fights. Also, look at the very bad boxing job he was doing, quite frankly, against Ricardo Mayorga. Keep in mind when he fought Antonio Margarito, who knows what Tony was thinking, because of course Tony's a slow starter to begin with. He had been busted with loaded gloves. I don't think Tony's head was right in that fight. A lot of that fight is just Shane Mosley teeing off inside, not a lot of boxing there. Here, he's in with a very mobile Sergio Mora. Understand, Mora has sparred with the very best. He has sparred with both Alfredo Angulo and Tony Margarito. He has dealt with volume punchers. He's even sparred with James Kirkland. He's dealt with volume punchers in private. I don't believe anything's going to phase him. I like Sergio Mora in this fight, straddled against Shane Mosley by KO. You should get better than even money on both ends of the bet. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me at gamblersadvisory.com. Visit us, gamblersadvisory.com, on Facebook. And of course, leave your comments for me here on YouTube and on my YouTube channel page, youtube.com/DWYER70905. Please don't be afraid to disagree with me. We're all guessing here. I'm just trying to make an educated guess. Every guess is educated. If you have a take, please let me know what that is. Just have a take. Do not suck, as Jim Rome likes to say. Have some facts to back it up. Look at film. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.